From WIS Columbia, the station you count on for local news. This is WIS News 10's Newswatch.
On the Sunday's Newswatch, the race is on. Candidates for governor are throwing their names in the hat. One of them, Representative Nikki Haley.
I'm a legislator that understands what good government can look like.
Newswatch sits down with the candidate for governor. Plus, in the wake of a political scandal, does Governor Sanford's admitted affair have consequences not only for him, but for those looking to take over his job next year? We'll answer that question. Hello and welcome to Newswatch. I'm Ben Hoover. She beat the state's then longest serving incumbent, becoming the first Indian American Republican elected to a state legislature. Now Representative Nikki Haley wants to be governor. Nikki Haley is here with us this morning. Thanks for coming on Newswatch.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's start with the news this week first. Your campaign reports that you have raised more than $200,000 in the second quarter. Can we here are the numbers right here on the screen. $7,000 on hand in your initial filing. So if you've raised quite a bit of money here, let's compare that to your Republican counterparts, your opponents and potential opponents. Gresham Barrett raised $500,000. That's in the first, I believe the second quarter, and cash on hand is yet to be determined. And then we can look at the next opponent here, potential opponent here with Attorney General Henry McMaster, raised $300,000 in the first quarter, $1 million cash on hand at this point. And one last potential opponent for you, Nikki, Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer raised $102,000 in the first quarter, almost $500,000 on hand. When you look at those, that comparison right there, what is your reaction?
You know, first of all, I'm focused on my numbers, which I'm incredibly proud of. It was $211,000 that we raised in 5 weeks. It wasn't a complete quarter. The numbers that you showed for everyone else was for a full quarter. Ours was 5 weeks of a quarter. So when we got out there, what I was proud of was these are small business people. These are individuals. These are people that care about the direction that government's going in 2010, and 90% plus was from South Carolina. So I'm very proud of those numbers, and it just goes to show that people want someone that's going to give them a good feeling about government that they can trust, and I'm going to try and be that person for them.
And when you released these numbers this week, you said that you have not seen any substantial effect in fundraising since the governor's announcement of an affair. Did you compare your rates of contribution before the announcement to rates of contribution afterwards? Is that how you came up with that
it was
determination?
Pretty consistent the whole way through. What we were looking for was just talking to people and talking to small businesses, telling them how I wanted government to be accountable to the people and not the other way around, and also turning around and letting them know that we need to make South Carolina a very pro-business state. We need it to be a friendly place to own and run a business, and we need to start focusing on jobs. People were very responsive to that, and in turn, I didn't see any drop in contributions, and I hope that they only continue to grow. I think this is the start of what's going to be a great campaign.
We spoke with Karen Floyd, the head of the Republican Party here in the state, and she said that a big part for Republicans to be successful in the elections ahead is to use the new technology. Are you raising a lot of money online through your website?
We saw a lot of contributions come through online with the website. You know, what I think is more important is to look at the message of Republicans. Republicans need to understand that what the people want to see is for them to go back to their conservative values, to understand that we do know what the value of a dollar is, that we do know that elected officials have to be accountable to the people that they represent, and that now this is no longer about what the people can do for elected officials. This is what elected officials can do for the people. It's time to roll our sleeves up. People are willing to contribute, but only to those that are willing to work for them.
When you first announced your intention to run for governor, Governor Sanford, he didn't give you his official backing at the time, but he did say that you would make a, quote, terrific and inspiring choice as governor. Why do you think he spoke like you in that way? You
know, he was always very supportive of my issues on accountability. He appreciated the fact that I never backed down from a fight. He always liked the fact that philosophically we shared a lot of the same beliefs, that government was growing too fast and spending too much, and that there were better ways to do that. I was strong on wanting to streamline government. I'm an accountant. I understand there are no money trees. You have to work within the numbers that you're given, and you have to prioritize. And that means everybody can't have everything they want. They have to make sure that the money is spent effectively and efficiently. Governor Sanford always appreciated that and was always very supportive of me on that front.
Well, shortly after he admitted to his affair with a woman in Argentina, you removed the governor's picture from your website, your campaign website. Are you trying to distance yourself from Sanford?
No, I really wasn't. You know, the picture being removed from the website was something that was going to happen anyway. day. The news of what happened, yes, that sped up the fact that it was going to do that. The reason is I want the campaign to be about what we want to do for the people of South Carolina. I never wanted it to be about one person. And I think the fact that what happened with the governor is disappointing to me on a personal level as well as on a professional level. What I care about is the reform movement for the people of the state of South Carolina. The reform in that we want government to be accountable to the people. We want spending to be more efficient, and we don't want them to feel like there are money trees hanging out there. The fact that we need an education system that works for the people. The fact that we're creating jobs in this state. The reform movement is about making government work for the people. I don't want that lost because of the sins of a man. I want people to remember it because of the principles of what we were growing the reform movement on and what the people have asked for in the state.
Will you seek his endorsement still, the governor's endorsement?
You know, we haven't really thought about it. I think he's got to go earn the trust of the people. I want the endorsement of the people of South Carolina. I don't want the endorsement of any one person. It's those people that matter. It's those people that I serve, and it's those people that I want to make proud at the end of the day.
For all intents and purposes, it appears that he will stay in office through the end of his second term. Let's go back a week or so ago. We were talking about, you know, possibly Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer moving into that spot if he were to resign, and you came out and you said that would be a bad thing. Why were you so specific in talking about the Lieutenant Governor? Do you have something against Andre Bauer?
You know, I've spent the last 5 or 6 years in the legislature trying to get us out of the good old boy system, trying to get the sunlight into what we do in the legislature, trying to make elected officials accountable to those that they serve. I felt like to put the lieutenant governor in that office would be taking us back 5 more years back to where the good old boy system was. I didn't want to see that happen. You know, whether it's been the Office on Aging that's been clouded with controversy, whether it's been the fact that he came onto the House floor and lobbied for security detail after it had been turned down. All of these things and more are more of the deals that have been cut in the legislature that I'm trying to get to stop.
So your opinion on that matter at that time, that was based solely on, you know, making South Carolina, putting it in a better position through this terrible time that the state was going through, not so much the run for governor?
South Carolina needs to heal. South Carolina needs to feel good about their government. The person that we put at the head of that government, they need to feel good about. My comment in reference to Governor Sanford was, if you can tell us what you're going to do for the people for the next 18 months and tell us how you're going to get that done, then stay. If you can't, move on. My comments about Andre Bauer was, I'm very concerned about the reform movement in this state. I want it to continue. I want it to grow because I and a lot of other legislators have worked on that issue. What I didn't want was to see it go back to the way it was 5 or 6 years ago. That was a real fear of mine.